So I just got done making this flower wreath and I want to show you how I did it. First of all, I want to show you the colors that I'm going to be using. It's going to be all poly deco mesh. I have light pink, I have a medium pink, and then I have a dark pink. It might be called fuchsia, but it's just light, medium, and dark. And then the green for the leaves, this is called fresh green. You can go a little bit darker with a lime green, but I would think that would be more summer. We're doing spring, so we definitely want to go with the fresh green. So stay tuned and I will show you how I'm going to do this. So first things first, I have a 10-inch form and I went ahead and attached plastic canvas to the form. This is a 5 mesh plastic canvas. The 7 mesh has smaller holes, makes it a little more difficult to use. So we use the 5 mesh. I traced out the inside of this form using a little Sharpie, okay? And then I went ahead and attached it using 4-inch zip ties. I also went ahead and kind of drew a line where I figure I'm going to have my petals. We'll see if that works. If anything, it's going to give me a little guideline, okay? Okay. So for the leaves, I am definitely going to cut this with a wood burning tool. We're going to cut them into 10 by 10 pieces. And the reason I use a wood burning tool is because it reduces the fraying. The petals of the flower, we're not going to worry about fraying because guess what? We're not going to see any edges. So, but the leaves we are. So I have this beautiful fresh green. What I'm doing, I'm going to cut it down the 10-inch mark and I'm going to stay within the lines of the poly burlap. Okay, and that makes a good 10 by 10 piece, and that's all we need. Okay? So I'm going to show you how I make the flower petals. Okay, we are going to take, it really doesn't matter. Again, you're not going to see the edge lines, but this is just the way I do it. I have the finished edge on either side and it's curled up. Okay, I'm going to take my top right, bring it down to the bottom left. Okay, now I'm going to move this over so I can see it like this way. Now you can see it's from here to the corner here. It's just about 7 inches. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to stretch that out. Okay, I'm going to kind of keep my hand on here, and I'm going to go halfway up, which is 3.5 inches. Okay, so it'll be right about here. I'm going to do 2 scrunches, then do 2 scrunches from here, just like that. Okay, so you see it looks like that jellyfish. So from there, I'm going to take each side, kind of push that down in and bring that in. We don't want to bring it all the way down to the bottom. We want it up just a little bit. Same thing with this side. Now, if you see from the back, you see how that like kind of sticks out a little bit? Kind of push that in on either side the best you can. Okay, and then we're just going to mold this. We want it to be cupped, but we don't want to like over cup it. Like if we had this all the way down to the bottom like that, see how big of a cup it would make? And we don't want that big of a cup. We want it cupped, but just enough. Okay. and just kind of fool around with it, shape it the way you like it. And then I'm going to zip tie it shut. Now, if you've watched my other videos, I like to measure everything just to make sure everything is kind of at the same size. And I've been kind of making them 4.5 inches from the top here to where I put the zip tie. Now sometimes some of these still stuck out there, but you're really not going to see that because it's, they're going to be covered from, at least here up. So we're not too worried about the bottom. But see how that cup's just enough, not a whole lot, but we have a good cup there. Okay? Then from this point, we just cut that zip tie, and then I'm going to take my scissors and cut this off here. Okay, and there you go. So just make a whole bunch of these. I think I have a good idea how many I'm going to be using. I'm going to use 20 of the light pink, 10 of the medium pink, and 10 of the dark pink. Okay, so that's kind of where we are. We also need to do the leaves, and let me show you what I'm going to do with the leaves. Okay, the leaves, I'm just going to do your typical sunflower, and that's it. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to have the finished edge on either side. Okay, but I don't know why, it's just my habit, but I'm going to go top left, bottom right, kind of stick those in that way and scrunch it up. And then we're going to have, you'll see the finished edge like that. Okay, we want it on the left side. And that's it. I'm going to zip tie these together and we'll have these done. Okay, so now we're going to just go ahead and put these on the wreath. Okay, I'll see you. First thing I'm going to do is attach these leaves to the form right here at the crossbar. Okay, and what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go one way, kind of from this corner to this corner, okay, on this second ring. I'm going to put this in here. Okay, now see how it leans way over to one side? I'm going to take another zip tie and I'm going to go the opposite way. And it totally straightens it out. Okay, see how straight that is? I'm going to do that with all 5 on these crossbars. Now I have all of these done. If you see any frays, go ahead and cut them off. The wood burning tool definitely cuts down on the fraying, but it doesn't eliminate it. So, okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use all these light pink petals that I've made. So yeah, I'm going to use this second ring, which is the same ring that I have these on, but we should be able to fit 3 in each section. So at least I'm going to try it. And the same thing with this. I think this is still leaning just a little too much to the side. So I'm going to go ahead and do a double zip tie, kind of going in the opposite direction. Go ahead and put another one in here. And when I do this, I'm going to overlap just a little bit. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to stick with the 3 in each section. So we should have 15 going all the way around this second ring from the outside. So I am going to kind of slide these because I want to make sure that all the petals, even in between where the leaves are, I want to make sure that the one petal is overlapping the other. Okay, and I think we're good. Now I'm going to go to my next row. And for this next row, I'm going to alternate between the light pink and the medium pink. Just back and forth. And I was going to go all the way down to this last bar, like the very center, I guess you would call it. But if I did that, you can see the zip ties from the previous row, and I don't want to do that. So I'm going to go on this bar here, which is the 3rd bar from the outside. And I know it's going to seem rather close, but I think it's going to be okay. You're still going to be able to see the previous row. It's not like you're going to hide the petals or anything like that. See, yeah, we'll be fine. And I think because this row is behind it, it's kind of making it go straight in the first place. I don't know if a second zip tie will make it go any straighter. But so what I'm going to do, I'm going to put just 2 in per section here. Okay. Now this is leaning a little bit to that right side, but it's not too awful bad, so I'm not going to worry about putting a second zip tie in here. If you decide that you want a second zip tie, by all means, I'm not going to stop you. But I'm just going to like slide these a little bit just to make sure that there's enough of an overlap there. And I think we're good. Okay, so now on to the 3rd row. And I am going to use this where I drew this line. It's, let's say it's 3/4 of an inch from that last bar. Okay, so So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and just do that here. I'm gonna do another 10, and I'm gonna go, you can see where that crossbar is. I'll put one right there and then one right in the middle, again at the crossbar in the middle, and go all the way around that way. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna alternate between the medium pink and this dark pink. Okay, so here we have that third row. So for this inner row, I'm just going to do all of these in the dark pink. Okay, and what I'm going to try to do is just go off of where the medium pink was previously and just kind of go right in front of that. Okay, you can see this is pretty tight. So this last one's going to be a little tough to get in there, but we'll be able to maneuver it in there. Oh wow, isn't this pretty? Okay, so I'm going to stop here. I'm going to try to figure out for sure what I want to do for the center. So I think I decided for my center what I'm going to try to do is just do a simple braid, and I'm going to do this out of mesh. I have this buttery, like a lighter yellow. I believe it was called a daffodil yellow. And then I have this yellow. I'm not sure what that color was called. It's just, it's more of a medium. It's not the gold one. So anyhow, I cut 2 pieces 3 feet long of this buttery yellow or daffodil, and then 1 3-foot piece of this little bit darker yellow. I just figured 2 different colors at least. I could have done 3, but I didn't want to go too dark. So so that's why I went with the 2 pieces of the lighter. So I have this 3-foot piece of mesh. Okay, so to make it more manageable, I'm just going to scrunch the top here, take a pipe cleaner, and kind of twist it around. You don't have to do, I mean, 1 twist is fine. Just go down a couple inches, scrunch again, put another pipe cleaner. I just find it's a slightly more manageable than to leave it as long as it is. And just, you know, just every couple of inches. You don't have to measure anything. It's just what you feel comfortable with. You don't even have to do this. Again, I do it just because it seems a little bit more manageable to me. Okay. So there we go here. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the ends of all 3. Okay. I'm going to take these twisties off up at the top once I have a good hold on all 3 of them. and zip tie them together. Okay. Once we get to the point where our pipe cleaners are, just take those out and keep going. But having these kind of so they're not so wide definitely helps to make it more manageable. Okay. So I'm going to just keep braiding and I will meet you back here. So I have this beautifully imperfect braid. Yeah, there's some spots where it's wider than others. You know what? I really don't care that it's imperfect. It's going to be fine. Okay, and I trimmed off the edges on each of these. Okay, it turns out to be just a little over 2 feet, even though those pieces were 3 feet, just with all the braiding and everything like that, kind of took it down a little bit. So anyhow, I'm just going to just roll it. Okay, and I'm just going to squeeze that in. And actually, because I am going to use hot glue, I'm going to put something down just to kind of, you know, keep my cutting mat from getting glued on it. So anyhow, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and start rolling. I'm going to put a little dab of glue here. And kind of squeeze these together. And what I think I'm going to do too, I'm going to go ahead, take a 4-inch zip tie and just kind of get that beginning there, just kind of on the bottom of it, get my zip tie to go through part of here, on the mesh on that side and the mesh on this side. And just a little bit, not, you know, you don't have to get it to go through the whole thing or anything like that, but just that little bit kind of help keep that together. So there's that. I kind of push that down a little bit more. Okay, so I'm going to keep rolling. And you kind of want to make sure that this is pushed down so we don't see that zip tie where we first started. Kind of squeeze it nice and good. Add a little more glue. And here at this end here, I'm just going to kind of bring that around to the back. Okay, and there you go. That's our center. Nice little braided center. And I like having those two different colors, kind of like the same thing with the petals, just gives it a little bit more of dimension. So, okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put this in the center and I'll show you how I do it. So initially I was undecided on what to do with the center. I was actually thinking of just putting a nice big flower in the center, which would actually be very pretty. But there was something about it that I was just like, no. And that's why I ended up doing this center, which I think is going to be absolutely perfect. So what I'm going to do on the back side, I'm just going to take this 18-inch long piece of wire and just kind of go through the mesh and back around the outside. But I kind of want to go through several of these loops of this mesh just to kind of give it a little extra stability. Make sure it doesn't get pulled out. Okay, yeah, you can see I bent the wire as I was pushing, but there you go. And I'm pulling on it, it's not going anywhere, okay? So I'll just stick that through the plastic canvas right here in the center. Put that over, kind of pull it up tight and twist. And there you go. I've got a little piece of mesh sticking out there. I'll cut that off. But if it's not quite round, you can just kind of squeeze it to kind of mold it into a more round shape and you're good. Okay, I think we're good to go. So this is the finished flower wreath. Isn't this beautiful? So I love the yellow. It's very springy. I could have gone with a little more subtle yellow, but I think spring. We want extra color. So I went with this brighter yellow. I think it looks really good. And you know, it has that, the two different colors gives a little bit more dimension. Same with like using the 3 colors of mesh and the actual petals, gives it a lot more dimension, a little more interest, right? So I love how this turned out. The measurements on this, it's with the leaves, it's 22 inches wide. If we did not include the leaves from one side of the petals to the other, it's only 17 inches. So that would be actually really good for some of our customers that like the smaller wreaths. So this would be great for that. Plus, it's only about maybe, I didn't measure it, but it's probably only about 4 inches. So it probably would fit really well in between a door and the storm door. So, but I love this flower. What do you think? If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. And definitely subscribe to my channel. My name is Patty Davis. I'm with Crooked Tree Creations, and I'll see you in our next video.